Hello, everyone. I'm going to be starting some painting on Ogres very, very soon here. Spur of the moment live stream, so hopefully someone can make it. But if not, I will go over a little bit of how I made these guys, the process, and all that stuff. So you can find something useful in the video. And with that, we'll be starting our painting process. So on these guys here, I already did some base colors and did like the first ink on them. I'm doing a funky pink kind of color for the fabrics, reds for the armors. Gonna do like a dark red build up to brighters. This guy's banner's red, but some of them are gonna be like kind of a fabric white or off-white color. Most of the like sword sheaths, arrows, ropes, and stuff. I just did one brown color just to like get it on there, but I am planning on differentiating them a little bit as I go about painting this guy and getting him a bit more detailed. The way that I made this fella was it was like a Blood Bowl Ogre kit that someone had. It was like on Etsy or it was like on My Mini Factory. And it was like a 3D print or like a file that they were offering. And I got these a while ago. They've been sitting on my desk for a long time. And basically, I bought the Blood Bowl team. I got some banners, a couple of helmets, shoulder pads. We cut some swords that I already had, made them into longer swords, and gave them like weapons, bows, all that stuff to make them actually look like proper samurai ready for battle instead of Blood Bowl players. But the Blood Bowl player model was like a perfect launching point. And yeah, I got like 6 or so ogres like this out of it. They had like 6 or so unique poses for each of them. Starting with a little bit of red. Actually, really don't want to start that bright. Oops, sorry, folks. I just got everything kind of set up spur of the moment here, so I want to make sure I get everything on camera for everyone here. Here we go. I'm just starting with red because I haven't gone to work on these guys in a good couple of days. Good couple of weeks is more like what I should be saying. And yeah, I just kind of want to get familiar with them again. Don't have any pink on my palette, and that was clearly a bit of a mistake. We're going to need some pinks, but put this guy over here. Just so you can see another example, too. This guy's got like a little bow. Unfortunately, ogres can't really use bows. Yeah, I don't know. I put these on here because it's very samurai themed, and like, I don't know. I want them here, but I know my ogres can't use bows. Maybe I'll use these guys as like lead belchers or something, especially because in old world, lead belchers shoot way less attacks most of the time. So I don't know. Maybe they could work as like lead belcher proxy or something as well. But currently, I'm planning on actually using these as iron guts. The bows are kind of a secondary feature. None of them like have the bows drawn. If anything, they've got it all kind of like tucked to the side. But I know like, you know, traditionally, like samurai started as like horse archers, and archery was kind of a key component to it. I know a lot of times the sword kind of overplays that in most depictions, but that's kind of why I wanted to have the arrows and the quiver and stuff on there, even if they aren't necessarily using it in a game. Like, again, you can see this guy's got his bow right here, and he's got the little quiver right there, but it is what it is. Sorry to if my fan's going during this video and you can hear it. It's just starting to get a little hot here. And like I said, kind of set this up a little bit on the quicker side. YouTube doesn't really do a good job of telling me like these things on like feedback of audio or anything like that. So I won't really know until after this is all done and I give it a listen to. I think we're gonna actually start here. The first serious thing we're gonna do is try to get some of these little ropes and stuff that I missed the first time going around painted. It's not really that I missed them; it's that I was being kind of quick with the way that I did all this. Like I said, I've never been a huge fan of the base colors. If I am going to be spending a ton of time on something and I know it, and like something I'm going to be spending a bunch of time on and like not be setting aside for like a month or something, you know what I mean? Like I will spend a lot of time on the base colors, but nowadays my free time is kind of limited and I got to work a bit quicker. So I've been trying to find ways to increase my productivity on these base colors. I know I should really get into airbrushing, and I have an airbrush, but it is probably like 15 plus years old. It was very, very cheap when I bought it back then, and I really don't even know if it like can hit the quality of like what I see people doing online or anything. Might just be it can, and I need to spend time learning it. And I have a feeling that's what it is more than anything, but yeah, that might be a key thing to work into my hobby-based future goals. I know I'm not the first one to come up with the idea of doing samurai ogres. I've actually seen a couple of really cool pictures online. People doing samurai ogres. But I actually started this like again using this reference like I don't even know like 10, 15 years ago. I was like a teen. This is kind of when like I think I was working on it when Warhammer was like still actively supported by Games Workshop, like pre Old World. I was kind of doing some stuff like this, but I never got my whole army built up in this theme. It was always like one or two guys. Even to this day, I only have like 8 or so samurai ogres. So these 6 that I have planned is definitely going to be a big boost to that theme and eventually getting that army on a table. So just getting the ropes and everything done that I missed, like I said earlier. Hope everyone's been having a good week and then now are enjoying the weekend. Just did a very, very extensive video. It took a ton of time to make on everything you need to know to play Mordheim. Probably one of my top 3 favorite tabletop games of all time, if I'm being honest with you. I love Mordheim. And yeah, it took a long time. I had to go through the book, make sure everything I was saying was correct, and make sure that every little thing for how to play the game is somewhat explained. I'm sure there's stuff I missed, but like it was kind of interesting making that video because I'm like, oh, like, you know, people don't, you might not know like what characteristics are like LD on a model or I and A. Like you got to think about it kind of from the first time playing these games. And I had to make sure a lot of those concepts were clearly explained, and movement in Warhammer games, and to get me thinking about how Warhammer nowadays is actually kind of unique to a lot of tabletop games. I love playing Legion. That one's like really popular. In Legion, like a lot of times, like in a melee situation, the opponent doesn't just get like a free attack. It's you attack, and then when it's their turn to activate their unit, then they attack. I think Warhammer is very unique in the sense that like both players have like an active combat phase regardless of whose turn it is. Also, a very unique thing is just rolling to wound in Warhammer. Seriously, in so many games I play, even like Dungeons and Dragons, which I know isn't really necessarily a tabletop game, like the whole concept of you roll the hit and then you roll to wound is very uniquely Warhammer. I feel like not many games do that, and obviously that's a thing in Mordheim. So I was kind of thinking about that when I was making the video and explaining concepts of Warhammer games to people, trying to make it a sensible tutorial. I think it's a good thing though, because it gives you something to do during the opponent's turn and kind of keeps you actively engaged. It's a good thing. All the ropes, it looks like. Obviously, I didn't get the big ones though, so now I'm gonna go in and kind of hit those with the same color, I think, just to start differentiating them from all the other brown tones I got going on here. Sorry, everyone. I know I'm not giving too much narration here, but just trying to get these browns done and get a little bit lost in it. You know what I mean? Just chill out. You know, some music going in the background. Hopefully, YouTube's not going to get mad at. It isn't annoying for any of you listening or watching. That's pretty good. Cool. So I think we got all the browns done with that. Move on to the next thing. Take a bite of our apple too. Okay. There you go. I met this guy now. You guys get to be part of the live process as I kind of plan this thing out. Look, I'm going to do black on this little sword over here. Somewhat comically, because like normally like samurai have like traditionally, well, it depends. Like I've seen a lot of stuff where like they'll have basically a short sword, then they have like a dagger, and then they have like a long sword that you can like two-hand. Sometimes they don't have that, obviously, and it's just like spear, whatever type of primary they feel like using for battle. But in a lot of those situations, they have like 3 swords or like 3 blades basically on them. And I tried to do that with these guys, and it looks awesome with these ogres. They just like, I don't know if you can see here, but yeah, it's like they're just armed to the teeth, which is very Iron Gutish, I kind of feel like. So I like that. Black there. Black on the string as well here. And the barrow string. This isn't directly related to the model, but I saw Lord of the Rings Extended Edition last weekend in theaters, the Fellowship of the Ring. I've seen those movies plenty of times. I read the books when I was a young lad. But yeah, it was both interesting and refreshing and a lot of different emotions. Interesting watching it because I've seen the extended editions a few times, but I think because the first time I ever saw those movies was the theatrical version, those are kind of the way a lot of the memories are ingrained in my head. So like when I watch the extended versions, I'm always like, oh wow, like I don't remember that, or I don't remember this, or Gimli actually has like a lot of funny lines that they cut out in the normal version. Not to say he doesn't have good ones, but yeah, I was like, oh wow, I don't remember Gimli like having these little like funny moments. A couple of times I'm like, oh, I can understand why they cut that out. A few times I do remember like extended moments. I definitely remember like all the stuff from that they like connect with The Hobbit. Not like the new movies, but they like kind of did shout outs and connection points back then, even like with those movies and the extended cut. So yeah, it was definitely interesting in that regard. Nostalgic and enjoyable, just like listen to Bilbo's tales going back to the Elven Kingdom, and I don't know, his like whole story in that was very touching. Maybe it's because I was very young and didn't pay as much attention to it the first time around, but listening to it this time and having, yeah, I've also read, I'm pretty sure most people have, like having read The Hobbit and like all that stuff. I was like, oh, you know, this is very, very touching, and I feel for Bilbo on that one. So yeah, overall, definitely enjoyed watching it. Had some good moments. Another thing that was cool is Gladriel's Kingdom. I I always remember reading about that in the book, and like there was this shadowy veil over it, but also it was like a bright point of light, and it was like kind of this contradiction, and like it created this air of danger in a place that was supposed to have warmth, and like all these kind of themes that were very symbolic in the book. I think they actually did a pretty good job in the movie. But it was cool seeing the extended cut and like seeing like outer shots of like the whole place and the scenery, and like even just extended cuts of like them going down the river there. And it's interesting how like all the shots convey though. I think they do a good job like conveying those themes. Like there's like an autumn warmth to it, but then there's like an eerie fog over everything, and like there's always like warmth and like light, but then like an air of danger and like caution to it. And I think he did a very good job with that, and like some of the extended scenes were very cool for that. But yeah, going back to what I was talking about prior, did a pretty good job with the extended cut. I liked all that stuff. It was definitely nostalgic seeing a lot of the classic scenes again, Legolas being a badass in that movie, just killing trolls and orcs, and he has like the best acrobatic feats without a doubt. But Aragorn's actually really cool in that. Like I remember him always kind of being meh to me, but like other than the love scene moments, like I was like, oh damn, like he's really cool in that movie. In the future installments as well. He was definitely, he had a bit more charm on me as well this time watching it. I always like when he's just like the Strider. I think that's very cool. Very, very cool character. But I do have some beefs with the extended cut, if I'm being very artsy fartsy kind of critical about the films. And I hope you enjoy my narrations about these movies. I don't know. I'm just getting the Browns done on this. I figured it's something interesting to talk about. Maybe one day I'll make like a YouTube video about this stuff. But yeah, the extended cuts are like this mixed bag of like, I think movies and story structure is kind of there for a reason. And sometimes the extended cut is justified in its actions, and then other times it is not, and it definitely impedes on kind of selling people on like Lord of the Rings, and like especially if it's like their first time. I think it's like, especially in today's world that we live in, like a really hard ask to be like, hey, do you want to sit down and watch this movie that like you have no nostalgic ties to or like anything, like for 4 hours, or sorry, 3.5 hours, like, and then after that do you want to watch like another 3-hour one and then another 4-hour one or something? Like I don't know, like it takes a very unique individual to be open-minded to that, I think. And like, yeah, you might be into like fantasy and like orcs and elves and all that stuff, even like medieval history, so you're like interested kind of from that standpoint. I don't know, like I just think it's a very hard sell. And there's a reason that they structured it the way they did, and it was so successful in what it did. And yeah, it's just like a lot of times, like I've had people surprisingly, they're like, yeah, I've never seen Lord of the Rings before, and like I know that extended cut is like the first thing they watch, and like, you know, I think a lot of times people are just like, oh yeah, like that's cool because like they've heard about Lord of the Rings and this and that, but I don't know. I feel like it kind of failed to leave that impression that it should have left. And I think sometimes the extended cuts in themselves can be a very big contributing factor to that. So, yeah, I was definitely kind of thinking about that, the pacing, the structure. Why is X, Y, and Z here? Like, I'm kind of watching it. And yeah, I do think they're kind of a mixed bag overall. It's kind of like George Lucas's extended or recuts of Star Wars. Like each time people are like, oh, this is cool and that, but like, did he really need to do this and that? But yeah, so it's kind of my little tangent on that while I was staring at this mini, trying to figure out where to approach it next. And I think I need to come up with a new color for the sword hilt. or sword case, sorry. Right here, the sheath. I think we do something funky, like a dark green, to be honest. Excuse me. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just feeling it. Feeling a dark green right now. It's on my palette. Why not? And that concluded all of my thoughts on Lord of the Rings Extended Edition, pretty much. Great film. Great film. Okay, as sword case here, maybe we'll do the quiver green as well. Keep a bit of a color consistency to the miniature, you know. Cool. This little dark green on the quiver and on the sword case. I feel like I gotta get a pink at some point here, folks. We're gonna have to take a break and do that, but I'm gonna fight off my temptations to do that for a wee bit longer. I don't want to get up on my butt. Ah, a sword. Some paint on the gut doing some paint on the gut plate. I don't know why I got tongue twisted on that. It's not really a tongue twister, but it happened, folks. It happened. What else do I get to say? I don't know how many people play video games here. I'm a big strategy gamer. Very big into Age of Empires. But lately I haven't had... I normally like to play team games on Age of Empires. I've had like a solid little crew of people I've been playing with for a good couple of years now. But not many of them have been around. Still play like pretty often. I've been dabbling in Warcraft 3. Now I know Reforged sucks and it like got a lot of heat and stuff, which is all fair. I kind of think all of that is well deserved. But having said all of that, like I do just kind of want to play Warcraft 3. Like, you know, it you can't deny like Warcraft 3 used to be like an awesome game, and like if I could still play it as it is, like why wouldn't I? Great game. So I've been kind of taking it for what it is and just been basically playing it with like the old graphics and everything, and mostly been playing against bots. Done a couple of games online, mostly getting my butt kicked. But I gotta say, I've been having fun with it. Been getting a little bit better each time I play. Working on beating the AI right now, which is funny because like when it comes to like Age, I'm not like Age of Empires 2. I'm not like super good or anything. Like I'd say I'm like maybe a bit above average. But like the insane bot, or like yeah, I think max difficulty on Age of Empires 2 is insane. Like I can beat the insane bot, no problem at all. Any civ, any map, like especially because the AI doesn't really work that well on a lot of the maps. Tossing some shade out. But anyways, yeah. Now I'm playing this new game, and like I can beat the normal bot easily now, but like it was actually like I got my butt kicked the first time by the normal bot, and that was a bit humbling for me. It was pretty funny going from like being able to defeat any level bot. I used to play against my friends and be like, yeah, why don't all 3 or 4 of you guys go up against me in like Age of Empires, and I could beat them. I have like the masterpiece achievement thing, and I like earned it with just stomping all my friends. Like, but yeah, now I'm going into this new RTS, and like I really gotta relearn things. And if I wasn't clear on this, like I used to play a lot of Warcraft 3 back in the day, not competitive, but just making maps and playing like random custom games and all that. I used to like Broken Alliances. They had a World War Z game type that was really cool back in the day. SWAT Aftermath. I used to think that one was a lot of fun. Island Troll Tribe, Werewolf Transylvania. Oh, the Jurassic Park Survival was also pretty good. I was never a big Dota guy or anything. I don't really like those like MOBA arena games that much. So yeah, I was kind of I know that one was very popular. Obviously, it still is today, but that started on Warcraft 3. If people are watching this and did not know that. So that's been pretty fun. I've been playing that. Also been playing a lot of Oddworld, one of my childhood favorite games. Like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Oddworld, probably a couple of other games like Fallout, Mad Max, like that type of stuff. Like huge impressions on me when I was a kid. I can name every creature, every character in Oddworld. Like absolutely love that game. I beat Soulstorm a couple of days ago. Then I went back to the remastered Abe's Odyssey, the first game remastered. I cleared Rupture Farms, got all the slaves, the Mudakan slaves rescued there. I'm on the Temple Trials right now. I went to Scrabmania, doing that. Got like half of the little Torch Trials done at the moment. Been liking that. What I talk about? I love that. I love Oddworld. It's so funny, fun, just creative, great world. I was listening to a bunch of like podcasts and interviews with the director of the game, and I won't bore you guys too much with it, but he's got a very inspiring story and stuff. I very much dig him and his whole company and the world that he built. It's very cool. So got a little front stuff there done on the gut plate while I was chit-chatting with you. Looks good. Still trying to buy my time until I have to get that pink paint for these pants. It's got to happen at some point. I know it. Let me know what games you guys are playing. Obviously, any movies you guys might have seen as well. I know I've been chit-chatting away about that. I'll have to hear about things in the comments, what's going on in the world outside of my little bubble that I live in. It's looking pretty cool. Pretty cool. I don't know what color I'm going to do the arrow feathers. I can't really... I mean, I could do it red, but I just feel like there's so much red going on here. It's just... I don't know. Maybe it's good that it blends in. I think about that one. So I'm going to do this bow handle black here. Let's use black. And, you know, this is stuff I could have gotten done during the base color stage, but I don't know. I just like, I find that when I get the colors on there quick, even if they're not exactly what I want, I like having it like this so I can like play around with the values a bit more. So it's another reason I've kind of been a bit quicker with my base colors lately and just kind of getting to this slower detail stage. I did batch paint these guys too. Obviously, you saw this guy here, but I have like 3 or 4 more like this, and I did all these guys kind of like in a stage thing like that. Kind of like what I did with the Clone Commandos if you watch my other live stream. Summer is kicking off here, though. It's starting to get real hot. Everyone's heading to the beach, soaking in the sun. Hope all of you have been having a good summer, or start of the summer. You'll get some time during this lovely season to enjoy it. Go outside. I've been trying to go outside myself and enjoy the day, at least a couple hours every afternoon. If I'm not too bogged down with work, which today we're not. Today we got all our work done pretty early, fortunately. And have a bit of fun painting some ogres now. Crap. So I'm going to leave this like this here for you. I need to get a pink. I need to get another red, like a darker red for my palette here. I might get another flesh color. And I think that's about it. So probably going to take a 5-minute break here, folks. We'll type a little message in the chat, and then we'll get back to it. Got the colors. One more minute, and I'll be right back. Sorry, folks. Alrighty. We're back. I got my colors. Shouldn't have left the brush in there. Reckless. Oh well. So if any of my dedicated viewers of the channel happen to be watching this live stream, I'm going to be organizing a Warhammer the Old World League very soon with I think at least 6 players. Might have one more that I'm not accounting for yet, but at least 6 players, including myself. The catch of it is it's going to be a 500-point league, and you got to play 6 or 7 games, and they're kind of quick, fun games. It's all going to be in a little video I hopefully will be making very soon for the channel. I want it to be there for everyone in the league as well. But it is set in Lustria because I figured it's summer and it's going to be very hot where I live. Bit of a tropical climate, you could say we got here. I don't know. Kind of fit the theme of everything, I thought, perfectly. So we're heading to Lustria for a 500-point league tournament. I have a custom level up system that I had for older editions of Warhammer that I just basically ported over to, I think, fully work in Old World. I got still ironclad a couple of the rules out, but Yeah, basically you got like if you've ever played Mordheim or you watch my Mordheim video, perhaps you'll be familiar with how Games Workshop kind of set up a level up system in that, and I basically ported it over to work in larger scale Warhammer games. Same with like an injury system and all that, but we're just going to be playing very simple game. You get like one level up, maybe two over the entire campaign on like a select unit or character. You get a couple of extra points after each game you play in. So like they're 500-point armies over the 6 games they play in. I think it'll grow to like 600, maybe a little less points roughly in size. You can see that pink's making a big difference there, by the way. But I left a lot of like the inks and stuff that I did earlier. So it's not like I'm just doing redundant work, just painting over everything again or anything. Like now we're building up, we're using old colors, we're using new. It's good, it's good. But yeah, I got this big Lustria League planned. I've got a couple armies I'm planning for it. Unfortunately, I won't be playing Ogres because one of the players in the league despises my Ogre army and refuses to play against it. And I figured I will spare him the agony of fighting them once more. So we are going to be either playing Dwarves, and if I play Dwarves, I'll be doing a Slayer-themed army. Or if I play Orcs and Goblins, which is the other one, I've got a couple of things in mind. Both of them are Orc themed armies. One is a Black Orc themed army, but like Black Orcs are so cool, but like everyone likes Black Orcs and does Black Orcs like for themes. So like I don't know, I feel like I'm being kind of generic with that. So I'm a little like I want to do it, but I also want to be a bit original. So I have like this Biggins kind of just generic Orc Boy army themed with like archers and stuff, but they're all like pirates. And I was thinking about doing like this Orc kind of freebooter pirate themed army. I have like something like that for 40K. I thought it'd be really cool to have that in fantasy. So that's like kind of the other army that I'm planning, and then the Slayers are like bounty hunting, monster hunting, slayer, like kind of 500-point company that's gathered together. They got like a bolt thrower to like help tie down or skewer like a big monster. A couple of rangers, soften up whatever target it is for the slayers. So yeah, it's like a bolt thrower, rangers, dragon slayer, hero, and then like 10 or 12 slayers. And that's my list. Orc and Goblin ones, I got like a couple of those as well. It's like the Black Orc ones, just like as many Black Orcs with a boss I could squeeze in, and a couple Archer boys, and like some, I think I had like a Rider unit or something. I did have Goblins in that one, but it's just like one small throwaway unit. I think the freebooters did too, but again, it's just like a throwaway unit. So I'm not sure which one of those I'll play yet. I think all 2 or 3 of those ideas are pretty cool. I know for dwarves, if I do dwarves, it's definitely gonna be Slayer themed. I love Slayers. I think they're bad. Like I thought they were kind of bad in 8th edition, and then I saw the rules in this game, and I still think they're pretty bad. If I'm being honest, but I don't really give a crap. I'm like still gonna play them and have fun with them, and maybe I'll figure out the secrets on how to make them good. So it's part of the thrill of playing them. Try doing the reds now. Just getting all the reds done here, folks. Cool. All right. So that's good enough for the stage that we're at here. Now let's get the skin tone and maybe like the sword, one or two other things. And, well, oh my God, I didn't realize it's already been an hour almost. We'll probably get the skin tone done and then we'll call it here for now. Hopefully you guys found this video enlightening or at the very least entertaining. If you got any questions on colors or anything and you, again, are not on the live stream right now and you happen to be watching this later on, leave a comment and I will let you know whatever I've been using. I'm a bit messy with my palette, as I'm sure you can tell over here, but I kind of tend to do a lot of painting, so I can kind of deal with it. All right. So the skin tone that I do for my ogres is a bit funky. It's kind of like in the cover thing I did for this live stream. It's like this gray, whitish skin tone thing that I've seen Games Workshop do. It's specifically on like the 6th edition wave of ogres, I think is when they did it most. And I am building up towards that. Right now it's a little bit too bright, but as we work through it, you're going to kind of see it turning into that. I'm actually, once I clean my brush off here, I'm going to run over, grab one of my ogres off the shelf and just kind of show you all so you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, I've always been a really, really big fan of that. I don't know why. I really like that style of ogres. I think it looks really cool. Do a lot of different skin tones for ogres, obviously. Especially now, I mean, you go into Chaos Ogres, like, oh, got every color under the rainbow, potentially. For Chaos Ogres. Always upset me. I always feel like Chaos Ogres are a little better than normal Ogres, and I guess that makes sense. They are blessed with Chaos, but I was like, how these guys got like the best of this, they got the best of that, and they got the best Ogres? What's up with that? But I guess you could argue Man-Eaters are a tier above, but still, their standard Ogres arguably a little bit better than the Ogre's standard Ogre. I haven't looked at the old world Chaos Ogres, though, so I might be incorrect on my assessment of that. Might be an outdated opinion. Plus, obviously, they don't have access. Nor did they ever, like, the amount of Ogre variety that Ogre Kingdom has, like in their army. Way more unit types and options available for their ogres. Spot or two I gotta fix back there, but you can see his skin is changing right before my eyes. We gotta go back and touch up a couple of little errors I made here, but it's looking pretty good already. I think if you were coming in at the start, you probably were looking at a pretty sloppy mess, but now you're actually looking at something pretty cool. And probably a good time because, I mean, like I'm literally falling on exactly an hour mark. Probably took like a 5-10 minute break here, but yeah, I mean, you can see like the before and after here, quite the transformation. Hopefully you found some of this video entertaining, maybe a little bit informative even. If you have any questions on colors, concepts, like how I built this thing or whatever, just let me know in the comments and I will gladly answer whatever. Or if you have any suggestions maybe for the Warhammer Old World League I'm about to be starting up, I will gladly hear out any cool suggestions for that. Like I said, 500 point, 6 or 7 players, set in Lustria. It'll be fun. Anyways, folks, that is going to conclude the video here. Have a great day, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye.